Oh, hey, hi, hello, welcome on in. Warren at some point might interrupt me because he's working out some
I'm
audio
here.
issue. Okay, cool. I was just waiting for it to just go into spiel and be completely interrupted. It was gonna be
I'm
glorious.
still going to interrupt you.
I mean, you already sort of did, but thank you. Um,
Again, no, I will.
oh, okay. But thank you guys so much for coming hanging out. Really do appreciate it. This is gonna be episode 5 of Indy Midnight Hunter the Reckoning Edition, Fear Among Us. Um, Warren, go ahead and kick us off here. Who are you going to be playing, and what does your character get to spend desperation dice on?
Hi, I'm Warren. I am playing Brick, and my character gets to spend desperation dice on anything the storyteller will let me get away with.
That's a bold one. um, Next up, we have Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah playing Morgan, and I get to spend desperation dice on breaking and entering, interrogation, or research.
Nerd. Uh,
Very
Faye.
much.
Just a little bit. Next up, we have Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin. I'll be playing Katrina Foster, and I am the same as Hannah. I will get to, use that desperation dice when I'm gathering information, doing research, breaking and entering, conducting an interrogation. So I could have used desperation dice on Riley last week.
Factual information could have, and also weirdly, Riley could have used it against you for lying. Um, Not that they were lying, of course. No, 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 no. I don't want to put that. That's just too much.
Riley doesn't need help with that.
Yeah, it's fair. Next up, we have Rob.
Hi, I'm going to be playing Jonas tonight, and I can spend desperation dice on any direct conflict with the supernatural while on the hunt, physical, social, or mental.
Ooh, sounds like a good time. And for as a reminder for our cast and everyone at home, um, you guys get to go ahead and increase your willpower. Not increase your willpower. Yeah, increase your willpower. Yeah, I was right. Um, Up to that amount based off your resolve or other stat. And uh, for those everyone tracking at home, danger is at 2, desperation is also at 2. Um, so it's a little bit heated time right now. As we go into our recap, um, this cell is in the middle of a lot of things, as this group tends to do very on early on in the chronicle. Um, but in the middle of their hunt, they had run into this large humanoid insectoid type creature um, that was in the process of cooking something. But as Morgan and Trina were in the process of escaping the premises, Trina did run into a ghost before it disappeared into further into the house. But after some time to sort of rest and try to get your footing, Morgan and Riley had other plans this evening as they decided to go out clubbing to some of Indianapolis's nightclubs. Uh, Riley and Morgan stumbled their way into a club that was owned by a vampire. After some charming incidents, Morgan was able to break free from it and not be affected. But Riley, on the other hand, was not so lucky. So the group reconvened at a nearest hotel, prepared for all sorts of different um, contingencies before a threat was called in. And you guys were seemingly being listened onto while you guys were inside of your nightclub, or inside of the hotel, excuse me. Um, and after you guys sort of dispersed very quickly after finding out you guys were being listened on, you guys went ahead and went your separate ways. Um, and um, Jonas went and found the club that Riley was last left at, and seen a conversation with a very well dressed individual in a crimson suit talking down to Riley as Riley was handcuffed on the sidewalk. After some heart to heart conversation between Riley and Jonas, excuse me, um, they went ahead and both of them went their separate ways and went to sleep. The next morning at a park, you guys had some park breakfast that Brick was working together and trying to grill up some breakfast food and obviously have the famous breakfast beer that go with it. Um, as things began to get heated shortly after, as you guys sort of made a plan and you had a basic understanding of what happened with Riley, but it was time for Riley to come in and sort of say their piece. After some heated conversation between Trina and Riley, things began to simmer down a little bit before you guys were sort of discussing what is your next step in your guys' hunt. And this is where we sort of are picking up this fine morning as Brick is doing his best to work with what he's got and make a nice, fine breakfast.
And unlike when I'm in direct physical confrontation, I cannot spend desperation dice on breakfast.
Your storyteller will not allow that. Sorry.
I don't know, maybe if I punch the pancakes real hard?
Maybe the pancakes are the supernatural thing, and then you do get desperation dice.
Actually, it doesn't even have to be supernatural for Marshall. It just has to be direct physical conflict.
Just tenderize some chicken, and you'll be getting your desperation dice. Real talk.
Real helpful for baking.
Exactly.
It really tastes the rage and desperation.
I think we play that vampire game. But this is where we were picking up.
So are we still at the park?
You are indeed still at the park.
Okay. And did we send Riley home to think about what they've done?
Yes, Riley has went back to the center to sort of think about the conversation that was had between the group, but more specifically between them and Trina.
Cool. So I think that Jonas did at some point make his way over and grab a beer from Brick, assuming that Brick didn't mind parting with it.
That's what they're there for.
Awesome. And he'll crack it open and say, Trina, look, none of that was personal. I hope you understand. I get where you're coming from. I understand what you're angling for. And if you feel like you need to leave, then you feel like you need to leave. I'm just hoping that you'll stick around and help get rid of a ghost first.
I'm just trying to give that boy a wake up call. And
I get
look, I feel like maybe you're just a little bit too much of a soft touch.
Been guilty of that before, so I appreciate it. If you're still in for our initial hunt, though, we do have a ghost. How about the others? You two still in? It's dangerous business. People can walk away at any time.
I mean, I think we all knew that when we joined, so I'm in for this one.
Yeah, in for sure.
Awesome. Raise the beer, take a big sip, and say, well, first part of that might be dealing with the people end of things. The cops have gotten involved in this one, and they're gonna be looking for a report at some point. I did say that I would head down and give one. I could maybe use, gathering memories as an excuse to go back to the house, but honestly, I don't even know if I want to go there unless we have a plan of what we're going to do about it.
I think definitely some research is in order before we step foot back in that property. We got to have some kind of idea what we're dealing with.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And Jonas is going to reach into his pocket and fish out a business card and hold it over to Warren and say, somebody uh, gave that to Riley after we were at the house. It's Kate something. It's on there. Somebody with the Orpheus group. You know any of those folks or Kate? He leans over and goes, Dennison, ring a bell for you?
Does Kate Dennison ring a bell for me?
I don't think you're going to really enjoy this dice pool here. But we can go ahead and roll a. It's going to be wits to start us off. And I will allow either politics or occult.
Okay, it's not the worst pool on the planet. Two hits.
2 successes. You are going to be looking for 4 on this one. Would you like to willpower?
Yeah, I went.
Burn it. Yes.
Nope, just 3.
All right. The name does not ring a bell, but I will say, even with 3 successes, Orpheus Group does ring a bell. As a once very private technology company, it is one of these hunter organizations, but they mostly have like a face for like a high-end technology company. But they do mess with a lot of the ethereal plane and ghosts in particular.
So don't know anybody. I don't know the person, but I've heard of the Orpheus group.
Okay. I guess I'll ask everybody then and say these sorts of orgs, they're, well, you all know about them. Do we want to work with one?
So,
No, but do we know how to deal with a ghost?
yeah, remind me, Bruce, when Morgan pulled her first run on information, did she mention anything specifically about, you know, ethereal plane, ghosty kind of stuff?
On the Orpheus Group,
Yes.
um, I'm trying to look back real quick. Can't remember if that was a full success or not. Um, I do not recall off the top of my head, and I do not think our dice rolls go back that far. So you can go. You can go ahead and roll Intel plus technology if you would like to for me, Morgan, real quick.
Okay. I know I got some information because I have it in my notes, but I don't remember anything about the ghost part.
Heard.
Yeah, I had notes that about the supernatural, deal with the supernatural. It's had a lot of aliases.
Yeah.
Right.
but I didn't
And then
have
they
anything in
grouped
my
with the
notes.
NSA. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Um, as you're sort of searching through, um, obviously nothing official in any sort of capacity, um, but you do have different bits and pieces of either deep web or going even further information on this Orpheus group. In fact, dealing with some quote quote supernatural or ghost like entities. Um, but nothing ever concrete is put into place, and most of the information seems hit or miss, like someone's trying to scrub that information the best they can.
Okay, I would relay that to everybody.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I don't have any experience with this particular type of supernatural, so maybe we could make an appointment and see what they've got to offer.
Could it be a little risky?
I don't think all of us should go. Maybe one or two of us. Probably two, just for strength in numbers kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know about risky as much as complicated. They're probably going to want something, right?
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant by risky. Just, you know, owing people.
Yeah.
But if this is the way, one of the ways that we can figure out this ghost problem, then I'm down.
All right, so I guess, Jonas, you field the cops. Maybe see if you can worm any additional information out of them.
Sure. Sure.
Brick, any ideas what you can get up to?
Well, is watching the house something worth doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Particularly since you weren't there the first time.
I think maybe keeping an eye on it, maybe something put that thing there, and maybe they're going to come back to get whatever they needed to get old Caden out of the way for.
Well, I'm good for a stakeout.
Just make sure you bring plenty of that good venison jerky.
You know it.
Morgan, if you want, we can make the appointment and we can head over and maybe talk to these folks at the Orpheus group.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let you get a lay of the land, check out their security.
Yeah, I think that would probably be best.
Was there a phone number on the business card?
There was indeed a phone number on the business card.
Okay. I'll kind of step off to the side and dial the number.
A few moments go by, and on the second ring, it picks up. Information Awareness Office.
Yes, I'm looking to reach a Kate Dennison.
One moment, please. And you hear the line click.
Do I hear a bunch of little, like little beeps?
It less like beeps and more like a very subtle static,
Uh-huh.
and then it gets clear again. Hello?
Yes, I'm looking to speak with Miss Kate Dennison.
This is her.
Hi, Kate. You gave a card to an associate of mine, and I just thought I'd give you a holler and see if maybe I could set up an appointment to talk with you about that.
I would love to.
If
Uh,
it's permissible, I've got a friend that'd like to tag along.
of course, that's definitely fine. We you can do you know where the Information Awareness Office is here?
Can you find it on Google?
Yeah. It's just in the municipal building.
Um, Maybe a nice lunch somewhere.
I really would, but I have a lot of stuff I got to get going in the next couple of days, and this rather large project that needs to be overseen and taken care of. So if you want to meet, it would have to be at my office.
Okay, what's the office number?
Yeah, it's gonna be the second level basement, office 318.
Do I have to have? Do I just let the security guard know where I'm going?
Yeah, just speak at the front desk that you have an appointment with me, and they'll go ahead and get a badge all set up for you as well.
Perfect. What time works for you, honey?
Anytime between now and 4.
Okay, well, I like your flexibility, Kate.
Of course, just I'll be waiting.
Hangs up the phone. Oh, I got such a bad feeling about this.
Why?
We all
Something wrong
set?
with the location?
Well, there was municipal building has kind of a storied history. Um, yeah. If you don't hear from us in, I don't know, 24 hours, assume we're dead.
I, I don't know if I like that.
Okay, can you maybe try to send a text every hour?
Well, we're gonna be in a sub basement, so I seriously doubt we'll have cell phone reception.
Do you think you're going to be talking to her for more than an hour?
It really probably all depends exactly on what she wants to talk about.
Okay. I guess if we haven't heard from you in 3 hours, we'll assume something's gone wrong.
That sounds fair.
Cool.
Morgan, you mind if we take your car? I'm running low on gas.
Yeah, we can take my car.
Perfect.
Need
Okay.
some
Awesome.
gas money.
No,
Dang.
that's okay, honey. I'm just waiting for my paycheck.
Okay.
I thought Morgan asked for gas money. I was like, Jesus.
That's
His
in the
You
car,
got
background.
gas money?
car doesn't drive itself. What are you doing? Okay. So Brick is heading to the house to do some stakeout action. We have the ladies heading to the municipal building. I'm sure that will be a fun time for everyone. Um, and Jonas, what are we doing this evening or this afternoon, morning thing?
I think morning, I'm going down to deliver a report to the police. And then
Oh,
afterwards, I'm going to finally use my library.
yes. Um,
I hope.
so most of you guys head off in the similar direction as Brick heads in the different direction to head towards the house. But the two of you head over sort of to the roughly the same area, um, to the municipal building, and then like near it, just down the street a little bit, is the um, wow station. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Um, to the station where you can go ahead and give them your report. Um, Brick, please go ahead and um, make a wits and awareness. No, actually, I will even allow resolve and awareness as this is going to be an extended um, stakeout here for you. If you believe that to be fair.
I'll allow it.
Heck yes.
Oh, that's a terrible roll.
I will allow that.
I'll willpower it.
Okay. Um, Morgan and Trina, um, you guys head into the municipal building. If I could speak, good lord, would be super great to be on a show and be able to talk. Um, and it is rather busy. Um, but nonetheless, you guys can see that there is a person sort of behind this counter, just sort of typing away on a set of two monitors.
I'll just kind of walk up, lean on the counter. Hey, sweetie, how are you doing today?
Great, great. She gets to like sort of move the monitors out of the way so that it's like full attention. Um, who are you here
Now,
to see?
I hope this goes as smoothly as she said it would. Miss Dennison said to stop by and just let you know we're here to see her and that you would get us the security badge we need. I guess she's in some funky little basement or something.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and go to our back room here, print off a couple of temporary badges for you guys, and you guys be on your way.
Sounds perfect.
And she goes ahead and locks her computer and begins to head towards scans it on this door behind her and walks through, and it says employee only on the door before it shuts behind her.
How many security cameras are there in this lobby?
There are 3 in this lobby, and they're the little like black ball cameras, so you can't exactly
Mhm.
see which way they're facing. But you know, there's also multiple agents very much walking around, and even it probably looks like also some civilians also in here having conversations with different people. Um, but you go ahead and wait a few moments, and she comes out with a couple of passes that do have like a little electronic strip on them. Uh,
Perfect, honey. Thank you.
of course, here and here, and I just need see some IDs so we can. I know I can enter in this information to see who has badges out.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't drive, honey, so I didn't bring my I didn't she didn't tell me I'd need to bring my license.
Um,
I can give you my name.
yeah, yeah. If you'll, if I can just take a picture, write down your name, um, and then I will go ahead and just get some basic information like your address and stuff like that. You know, the information that would be on the ID.
Sure.
And then we can go ahead and grab that information from you. And I'm assuming you did drive, Miss. Looking over to you, Morgan.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, perfect. And so if I can get your ID and grab your information, and she like gets a small post-it note, Trina, and it's like puts it towards you, and gives you a pen, and then puts her hand out, sort of expecting towards you, Morgan.
I'll hand her my ID. I also have mask 1, just to let you know.
Ooh, perfect. I'm assuming you're giving her the masked ID then, not your actual ID.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
100%.
Perfect. Let me just happen to look that up here. Perfect. You know, weirdly enough, you go ahead and pass any sort of background checks thanks to Mask 1. Um, and go ahead and slide that back. Trinity, do you also have Mask? Is that correct?
Yes, that's actually the name I go by is my mask.
Perfect. And then I'm assuming you also provide her the mask information as well.
Yes, except I will give her the address for my apartment 3 apartments ago. Trina has problems paying the rent, so she's often
Hopping.
moving. So she's
Understandable.
got plenty of addresses that will, show up on a credit check.
Yeah. Um, and yours is also one, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Both of you guys, without any sort of issues, do pass any sort of background check or anything like that they could have ran for you. Um, but then go ahead and jot down your information. It's just a scan of your front and back of your ID. and your ID back to you, and as well as these 2 badges that have a small lanyard on them. So you want to go ahead when you get inside, just swipe it in the elevator. It'll take you down to your correct floor, and then you guys will be all set to good to go.
Excellent. Is there a secretary down there as well?
There's not. There's just a bunch of offices that are down there. Most of them are side by side, but there is some testing spaces down there as well. So just look for the group of offices, and you should be able to find hers pretty easily.
Is her name on the door?
It is, yes.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
You got it. And good luck and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
She goes ahead
So
and pulls
fancy.
her screens back and then begins to type again.
Guess head to the elevator and swipe the badge.
Okay. You guys begin to go down. Even though it's only 2 sub basements, there's a decent distance between the 2, as you can, feel how long you're on this elevator. It's not like a quick, couple floors down. It definitely has some distance between the 2 different levels. But you go ahead and get down to the 2nd level, and in front of you, you do see some white tiles. Hold on 1 second, actually. Sorry, pulling up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down, Brick. Sorry, those rolls just came in and popped in my head. Some white tiles in like a T formation, and on each side there's a bunch of sort of in each corner of this floor is some very thick looking glass with some or some carpet and stuff, and you have multiple desks in each sort of room. But on the far side of this T, there's one room, and that instead of any desk or anything like that, you see a single person sitting down inside of this glass box. And you see multiple people sort of sitting at different desks, and you see a couple of them sort of standing outside of this glass box looking at this person, each one of them wearing white lab coats.
You want to hang back and watch for a minute, see what happens?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. At the same time, I'm going to be looking around for cameras, and I probably would have looked for a camera in the elevator as well.
Yeah. In the elevator, there definitely is a camera. In the corner, another one of those like black bulb ones. And as soon as you step out of the elevator door, there is another camera on the outside, and then one on each corner of these like paths. On the right path, so to the right on the right path, you do see there's a camera, and then there is also a large metal door that looks like it closes in together. On the opposite one, there is another metal door that does look like it closes in together, and then also has a bulb to the left of it. And then on the left path, you look and you do see what looks like a set of sliding glass doors and multiple cars parked outside, like an underground garage.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull my phone out and act like I'm, pull up the notes app and act like I'm trying to find the office number to give us a reason to kind of stand here and lollygag while we're trying to see if anything interesting happens with the man in the clear box.
Yeah. As you pull up your phone, you do recognize you don't have any sort of signal or internet or anything like that here. And a few moments go by, and you see the person inside the box looks around and sort of looks past the group and looks right towards you, Trina.
Is there any recognition?
No, no recognition, and not even from the person in the box either. But they look at you puzzled, but don't still don't like they recognize you or anything like that. And you definitely don't recognize this individual.
Okay. I'll get a few more beats. I know I can only, keep this up for so long.
Sure.
And if nothing happens within probably the next 15 seconds, we'll start moving, looking for the offices.
The pair of researchers that were looking at this individual do turn and see what it's looking at, and they do see the pair of you. And they sort of look back, look towards you guys again, look back and begin to mess around on their iPads and take some notes. But other than that, nothing of interest or of note happens with this individual.
Yeah, we'll start looking for the offices.
You look for the different offices, and you look at the sort of glass rooms that these offices are sort of made off of each one, and you do see that there is like a group of 4 names, and Kate is one of them that is in the one that is caddy corner of the individual. So it's going to be the one that's directly on your right after the elevator.
Okay. Is it like the doors automated? Like when you get close, they open automatically, or?
So yeah, it's just a sliding door on each one of these glass rooms, and they sort of slide open as soon as you get close. There's a little sensor above.
Yeah, I'll kind of peek my head around. Hi, Kate.
Ah, yes. And you see this woman, probably pushing about 5'10", wearing heels in a very nice and professional business attire, but does have a white lab coat sort of draped over her. The hair tied back. We spoke on the phone earlier, yes?
Yeah.
No, perfect. Please sit. Please sit.
Does she like offer a hand to shake or anything?
She does not. She just asks you
Okay.
to sit in front of her desk.
Okay. I'll go ahead and take the chair farthest from the door.
Of course. So, you wanted to speak, and there are a couple of other individuals here working at their desk in the same room, but she seems like it doesn't really matter.
I'll produce the business card and set it down. Do you remember giving this away?
Could you give me a refresher on where?
It was at a Denny's.
I do remember.
And I apologize, our companion who you gave that to is a little indisposed. He was out late, a little too late for his own good. He's at home sleeping it off, if you know what I mean.
Hey, sometimes you gotta blow off steam. I get it. It's not I don't see it as a knock on any sort of individual for how they relax. Some people like to party the night away. Some people like a book. Who am I to judge?
Sounds like a very positive attitude you have there, Kate.
As long as it doesn't affect my pay, I don't care.
So
Anyway,
could you maybe give me a little information about why you passed him the car or passed him the card?
yeah. We noticed you guys fleeing a scene of a relatively hot event within the last 24 hours, 48 hours.
Was that y'all in the news van?
It was indeed us in the news van.
For future reference, you might tell them to actually get out of the van and put cameras on their shoulder and act like they're there to really report on a story.
It was what was the plan, but they had literally just arrived, so they didn't get the chance to quite hop out of the van quite yet. But we were also hoping to see what sort of bait this fish needed.
Oh, so you've been aware of the situation for a while.
A while is a stretch, but longer than most.
Could you give me an idea of approximately how much longer than most
About a week.
would be? Okay. And you didn't feel it was appropriate to intervene before a man lost his life?
To be fair, we didn't know it would do anything of this nature. It's the first time in a week that it's done anything like this before.
Do you know what exactly it is?
No, we don't, and that's why we're watching from afar so we can better gauge on how to deal with such things.
So, no one in this whole, she kind of looks around, facilities ever encountered anything like this?
We've had a couple of people reach out to our more global operations, and it seems like if there are these, they're mostly over in Venice. So the fact we have anything stateside is surprising.
Do you know what they call them in Venice? Even if it's an ancient terminology, anything you can give me would be helpful.
They let me see here if I have the notes somewhere. Sorry. Um, and she begins to type away and look and look and look. No, that's not right. Well, it's not very. I mean, it's an apt description, but I think they call it Mostro over there, which is just a
Mostro?
Mostro. Yeah, it's just Italian for monster.
That's probably not going to be very helpful now, is it?
Like I said, it's an apt description, but not a very good one. But
Out of curiosity, had y'all planted surveillance in his home?
we didn't, as he. That's not the typical ground where it stays. It's it travels, it burrows from location to location, and that was the first time it's ever been to that location.
So what was it doing that whole week that you saw it then?
Um,
Just
for
moving around?
yeah, burrowing, unburrowing at different locations. It would eat, strays for the most part. Um, this is the first time that a human was injured, and for the most part, it seems afraid of humans. Even their size and stuff like this is out of the ordinary, to say the least. Usually it stays to the shadows or stays burrowed around until it doesn't feel anyone around or anything like that.
So you're saying the size of the monstro is larger than normal?
I would say this is about the normal size from the ones we have on records.
And they're afraid of people?
Yes. Um, typically, for the most part, there have been one-off cases where they would attack a person, um, but that's so undocumented or so far in between that we don't know what the trigger is. Whether or not it's someone getting too close to a home or to a burrow, maybe, where it feels like it's being encroached upon. But like I said, for the last week, there It just moves from shadow to shadow or from ground to hole to hole. Um,
So just so I'm clear, y'all weren't looking at Caden's house. That was just a coincidence that that's where it chose to park itself.
Correct. We don't even know who that individual is more than now a very unfortunate person.
What it did to him seemed malicious, not defensive. It tore the man's heart from his body, and then, I'm pretty sure, cooked it in the stove. I think it had intentions to devour it. And this thing did not seem even remotely afraid of people. It seemed like if we had made one wrong move, it would have killed us just as quick. When you saw it, how big was it?
I mean, from stinger to head, probably around 10 feet long and rather
That
large upper
matches up.
torso.
Yeah, this thing didn't seem bothered by people at all. It seemed like it was thirsty to kill.
Again, like I said, that the only thing that we've noticed, because after this attack here in the States, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't hyper aggressive compared to the other Mostros. But we've never heard of any of them cooking or any preparing in any sort of way. Now, I will say that the eating of different organs and limbs and stuff like that isn't out of the ordinary for these sort of attacks. Um, but if you guys were in the house with it, it may have felt outnumbered or threatened and was maybe trying to fight or flight, and it fight one maybe.
Uh, you know, I've seen a few things, and I train dogs for a long time, and aggressiveness, recognizing that pattern is a key you pick up to stay safe, especially around large animals that could kill you if they wanted to. This thing exhibited behavior that was not fight or flight. This was hunting behavior. It was stalking us like prey.
That is, well, I want to say I'm sorry, and again, this is information that we have to one get from our offices overseas and translate. So I do apologize, but it's all new. And it's why Orpheus Group is interested.
What exactly is your end goal concerning this thing? Putting
Eh,
a stop to it?
oh, absolutely.
Capture?
Capturing and putting a stop to it if we can. If we realistically, I think it would be in everyone's best interest to capture it and experiment and figure out what makes these things tick. So that way, if this isn't just a single occurrence here in the States, we know how to deal with it more efficiently. But also, sending that information back to Venice would be tremendous.
Okay, so help me understand where we fit in.
That is really up to you all. We just know that there are not many people outside of our small research team that know this creature, especially stateside. And so having people that have a first-hand account with it, I see as an extremely valuable resource.
And would you be able to provide us resources in return for our assistance?
I can, depending on what sort of resources you're requesting, I might be able to have that written off.
Well, it's a connected case that actually deals with the residence and its occupant. It is my understanding that you have some technology that is useful in dealing with matters of the spirits.
She sort of like rolls her eyes. Yeah, specifically, that's my division.
Excellent. Well, any technology that you could provide us that would allow us to communicate with spirits, or because the young man who died, he is now still in the home,
Interesting.
and perhaps he might be able to provide us some information that might help us with your monstro or mostro. I'm sorry.
No, it's completely okay.
We just call it the Scorpion King.
She shakes her head. It's not completely invalid of a thought process there. I do have a device, and to be fair though, many spirits, when they manifest, um, are able to interact and speak for the most part, as long as they are around. But the more they manifest, depending on how they went, may make them angrier, sadder. Their mood can become erratic, to say the least. But they should be able to hear and process the information that you're saying. Now, we do have some technology that makes it a little bit more safer for them, but significantly less for you. And that allows you to project yourself over to that side.
I can tell you from my own personal uh, point of view that I have no interest in that. Thank you very much.
Well, some of your kind like to take pity on creatures who don't realize they are the monsters themselves in their arc.
Well, I mean, if we can help them move gently on, I'd much rather do that than harm. I
Oh, for
mean,
sure. Understandable. But it all depends on
um,
who you want to harm and who you want to lessen it on.
just in case the thing is violent, do you have any sort of technology that would help us in fighting it?
uh,
Like a proton pack or something?
you watch a lot of movies. Um, the thing about spirits is a lot of times they're dealt with in different sort of ways based off their life. Sometimes if they are trying to figure out why they were killed or aren't able to pass on, figuring out that reason or that purpose may be enough for them to sort of move on. There's been cases where um, they can burn down their estate, and that sort of consecrates the area, allowing them to not be there anymore and move on. Sometimes, though, that has also, like I said, mentioned, or consecrate the area, and then they are forced to roam the world as it is. Sometimes they're held on by an object or by a person. There's just a lot of different things that ghosts are one of the more difficult ones to nail down. as far as creatures that go bump in the night.
So what you're telling me is that in the decades of research y'all have put into fighting ghosts, you really don't have much more to tell me than I could pick up in an occult book at the dime store bookstore.
What I'm saying is that there is what I may not be able to provide you with specifics. I can give you the insight and information that one key does not fit every hole as when it comes to a ghost.
Gotcha.
You get a werewolf, silver is the answer.
Fair enough.
So it's just more of caution than anything else.
So do we get like a credit line or anything?
Well,
Company credit card?
you've taken a lot of our information, which has been quality, I would hope to feel. I feel like with this partnership between us, that you would also be forthcoming with any information you may have on this creature.
As of yet, because of circumstances, we haven't had really a great opportunity to dig into the resources that we have available. But as long as you're out there serving the best interests of humankind, I'm sure we'll be happy to share anything that we find.
Of course. And so I apologize. I just want to make sure I have understanding of this. When you guys were exhibiting the hunting patterns, like you mentioned, of this creature,
Mhm.
did it have any sort of capabilities or anything of note that you would be able to, that
It
would,
could climb on walls. It could. Its limbs were sharp and it could move incredibly fast. It didn't seem to register sound, however. We could talk without it taking any sort of action, but it seemed to more register movement.
mm,
Like sudden movements would pique its interest. Like when we took off running, we noticed that it seemed to be very aware of us, but when we stopped and stood still, we could have a conversation and not alert it to our presence.
you see her frantically go over to the keyboard, begin to type in notes. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Hazard pay or anything?
Well, we'll go with this. If you are able to go ahead and take care of this issue for me, we'd be more than happy to compensate in any sort of way that you and your group uh, would like to be compensated for within reason, of course, whether it's funds, just straight up payout, or if there is a shiny new gun you would like, just please let us know. We can definitely try to incorporate that for you. But as we are part of a government organization, as you saw upon entering, that please keep that in mind, that we do have limits that we have to fall in for your payments within the law.
Oh, sure, I wasn't going to be asked to get paid in cocaine or anything.
That's really unfortunate. Probably would have been one of the easier things for us to do.
Well, now you tell me. Look, any information that you can provide about any of the entities that you've collected would be greatly useful to us, even in lieu of. Because if we're out there working in the same interest as y'all, any sort of resources we have available to us that makes us more effective at that job, would be greatly appreciated because it'll help keep us safe and doing what we're doing a lot longer.
Yeah, of course. And as mid-sentence, you begin to see sort of
Wheels turning.
red lights begin to turn slowly, like almost like an alarm,
Oh,
as you begin to hear, wait, it's early.
I pull up my medallion and wrap it around my hand.
And in the glass, and everyone's attention sort of simultaneously shifts towards the glass box.
Okay, I'll turn to look too.
And as it's the person sort of hunched over, grabbing their arms, and almost like digging their like hands and fingers into their arms, you begin to see their nails extend longer and longer, and fur begins to grow on the back of their arms as they begin to grow and grow into roughly between 6.5 feet tall. Trina, you've seen this creature before, as you see a werewolf standing inside of this glass box. And it lets out a monstrous howl.
Nobody checked us for weapons, right?
Not
Okay.
a single person. I need.
I am doing, like I said, I have my thing. Thwart the unnatural, God damn it.
I got you. Don't you even worry. I just gotta check this power real quick.
So what do we have left on our bingo card?
You guys got a lot left.
Yeah, we got a mage.
Um. Trina, you can go ahead and roll composure plus resolve for me, please. Morgan, you do not have thwart the supernatural or unnatural, do you?
Nope.
Perfect. You are terrified as soon as this loud howl resonates through the floor.
Can I do composure plus occult?
Uh,
That's what it says
Yes.
for the edge
Yep.
pool. Okay.
yep.
All right. Okay.
I'm gonna get out of my chair and go in the corner behind Trina.
Okay.
It's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, terrified is the correct response.
Yes, it is. Congratulations. You're playing Hunter.
100%. 4 successes.
4 successes. You steel yourself in that moment, but it is. You definitely feel the medallion just digging into your hand as you're holding on to this, but you are not terrified, or at least not affected by the terrified power, I should say.
I'm gonna make sure that I'm looking it in the eye. You know, after a minute, you know, after she steels herself and she's gonna open her eyes and just glare at it, like make eye contact, like fuck you.
I will make a note. Thank you for.
How many other people seem to shit their pants when this thing howls?
Like half the staff on this floor, it's like absolutely like jump back a little bit. You do notice the 2 researchers that are next to the glass aren't even phased one bit.
Wonder if they're like working on some sort of research to see if they can have tech to avoid that feeling. Earplugs, eyeball things, I don't know.
In this wolfen form, the fur looks haggard with like sort of a greasy, mostly gray, but it's like a reddish gray, like it's aging. Um, but yeah, it's wild to see one without, and not in a parking lot.
Well,
On
I
the,
have no plan to get any closer.
as you wait for a moment, you do see it stand up on its hind legs, uh, and very proudly sort of boast back, shoulders back, and it's definitely now probably pushing closer to that 7 foot point, and it's just scanning around the room slowly from one side to another before it stops and sort of begins to smell.
Oh yeah, we both don't smell human.
And you begin to see the wolf look in your guys' general direction, and you begin to see the canines on the right side as he gives like a half-cocked smirk in this wolfish form.
Okay, what the hell? What the hell, Trina? We need to get out of here.
Just
Like,
relax, girl. It's okay. Grab
Uh,
my hand. Grab my hand. Just don't look at it.
And you see it take its claws and just scratch down the side of this glass, and you don't hear anything, but right? Like and it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
slowly scratching down the side of it, and they are deep cuts that are going through it, and it still looks like there's quite a bit to go in the glass, but he just got deep cuts going through it and makes an X.
If he starts punching that, we're running.
Inside, you begin to see a cage drop and land on top of it. And as you see it drop on top of it, you begin to hear it reel in pain. As you can see, like almost like not like smoke, but you can see like the charring as the silver bars hit the back of this thing, and it crouches down and like gets into like almost like a fetal position. All right.
Look back. Is Denise still? She not seemed unfazed,
Uh,
or Kate? Sorry.
Kate, she
Yeah.
sort of similar to what you were like, where she was taken aback at first, um, but sort of began to level out a little bit.
Gotcha.
But you do see that she does have her hand has a gun, like a gun appeared on her desk, and her hand is on top of it. But it's very just like more resting on top instead of like prepared.
Right.
But it is a beautiful silver gun. Looks like a 5.7 of some kind, but it's beautiful looking.
Very nice.
I apologize for that. And she takes it, puts it back into her desk, takes the magazine out, puts the safety on.
Yeah. I think we'll take that as our cue to leave. Um, I'm gonna give you this, and she pulls out a little notepad and jots down. That's a blind email that I use. You can just send any information there. It uses some security protocols, so everything should be encrypted.
Perfect. For I hate to be crude, obvious reasons, this is sort of the only capacity where I do official meetings. Is in my office like this for safety of the information that we're talking about, but also my safety because you don't know with these cells what they are capable of.
Yeah, I feel real safe. I say, looking over at the cage with the werewolf in it.
It I promise it only gets worse the deeper you go.
Oh, I can only imagine, honey. I have no desire to see behind the curtain.
Well, like I said, discuss with your cell and see what you need, and then we can go ahead and schedule another appointment on your payment.
Sure, sounds good, sugar.
Great. If you don't mind, I have a project to run.
Sure. Is Morgan calmed down now, or she's still pretty shaky?
Definitely still pretty shaky at this point.
Okay.
Halfway there.
Trina reaches inside of her jacket and pulls out a flask of whiskey. Passes it over to Morgan, like,
I will happily grab it.
okay, come on, honey. She kind of puts an arm around Morgan and starts walking her towards the elevator.
I'll put the flask inside my jacket.
As you guys are exiting out of the sort of glass office space that you guys were in, and take a left back towards the elevator, one of the research individuals sort of waits outside the door and begins to head in shortly after. Definitely one of the ones that you guys sort of notice you whenever the werewolf sort of looked at you guys across the room.
On the way by,
Mhm.
I don't know if I could glance. I'm going to see if he looks like he has anything obvious in his ears.
Go ahead and roll wits and awareness for me real quick.
Okay.
DC's gonna be 2.
I hate you.
I don't know what you want from me, man. You asked for these rules.
I'm always blaming you for my lack of planning in character creation. Oh, shit. What? What happened? Oh, I did a rolled 10.6.
Don't you hate rolling those 10.6s, man?
Oh, man.
They never roll smoothly.
Worst die ever.
I'd rather roll a D1 is all I'm saying.
Yeah, totes. Oh, 2 successes. Woo!
Hey. You do look, and beside he does have look like those like yellow ear like protectors like
Mhm.
pushed inside his ears, but that's about it.
Okay.
But as you sort of look by, he does have an iPad out that he's holding on to, and you do see, as you sort of look at his ears and like head back and are in the process of looking back towards the door, you do see there's a bunch of diagnostic information that they have for this werewolf here.
On the iPad?
Mhm.
Do I happen to catch a name?
An alias, if anything. But it is Splinterfang.
Splinterfang. Bro. Took the short end of the stick on that one. Probably because he's old and shit.
Yeah, right?
Taserface was taken.
Yeah.
Dude, it's totally got Taserface vibes. Okay, yeah, we'll split. Pass our all access laminates back to the lady at the front desk and get as far away from here as fucking possible.
What do you mean? As you guys step outside and it's about, 10 a.m., beautiful streets, you hear the sound of street music happening, you see people walking by, a mere like 60 feet above from where you guys just were. It's a beautiful, beautiful early morning.
Trina stops and flexes her hands, which have been balled into fists this whole time, and you see fingernail marks on the palms, and the strap from her medallion has been wrapped so tight it leaves like compression marks across her palm. Whew.
All right. As you guys exit out of the super secret facility of the Orpheus group, we can go ahead and have Jonas use a sweet, sweet library use.
Anything eventful happen while I was dropping off the police report, or
It was
he's
very.
not looking to talk to anybody?
He's
So
yeah, no, it's definitely it's very uneventful. He definitely seems to not enjoying the paperwork portion of this and more interested in trying to figure out what or who caused the horrible scene at the house.
got it. Okay. Um, Let me just look up the roll.
You're good.
Would he be doing this before or after we got out of there? Because I would have texted him specifically Mostro and Venice to give him a tip if he hadn't. I
This
would do
is
that anyways, but I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if this would be before
This is
that
gonna
or
be
after.
this is gonna be I believe for a library it is quite a long time for this.
It takes an hour.
Okay. Um so with that being the case, they would be in the middle of it when you guys sort of wrap up with your conversation. So Jonas, you do get a text message that just says Mastro.
Okay,
And Venice.
cool. So the role is resolve academics. For perks, I have where they hide and who they are.
Okay. And I was looking at the system. It says spend roughly a day researching their prey.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
Okay. So
is
yeah,
is why it's taken so long to make this happen.
yeah. So
So
you definitely have all the time in the world to make it happen. I will go ahead and give you a +1 die for that information about Mastro in Italy or in Venice, excuse me. Um,
okay,
so go ahead and
and I assume a research specialization would apply.
yes, absolutely, please. And you say where they hide and who they are the
Yeah.
perks.
Yep. I'm for sure willpowering this.
Perfect.
Three.
3. Okay, let me see here. Sorry, real quick. I'm looking up something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually for the other ones, it gives like what the DC is for it, but this just says calls for an edge test, and if you win,
Yeah, I think that this one is meant to be GM decides the
the
threshold
threshold.
part because there's a if you exceed it, then you can get a bonus equal to the margin on attempts to locate the lair or attempts to identify the prey. Success here is really just a clue with you deciding how vague it is.
Okay. I was just making sure that there wasn't anything like edge test that I rolled, make sure that what whether or not it was a success for it. Um, so for
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, that's what I was looking. I was trying to look real quick, but I do not see anything of that nature. Looks like edge test is just a test where edge is involved. Um, so um, you are going to be looking for um, a 3 for it, so you don't get any bonuses unfortunately for the figuring out where they are or what they are. So no bonus dice there for you, unfortunately. Um, But your clue is, and this was for the creature that you were doing the research on, correct? Perfect.
Yeah, the Mostro.
Um, again, definitely have seen more cases in Venice than you do here in the States. This seems to be the first documented case of any sort of nature like this. Um, and from your records that you're able to find, um, over the last maybe 100 years, there's been roughly 20 accounts of different creatures. Um, but they don't typically have a um, either they it's hard to tell whether or not they have a long lifespan, or they just go into hiding indefinitely and they just resurface somewhere else and get lost. Um, but you do notice that they probably have only one seems to be active every 5 years. Whether that be a lifespan or they just go deeper into hiding or what, but there's never an account of more than one, and there seems to be a new one every 5 years.
Okay, and I'm assuming that I don't find any accounts of like somebody killing it.
No, it seems like they've all sort of been just disappeared.
Okay, cool. So I think that, um, well, obviously Jonas is going to be spending all day on this, but I think that people are going to get sporadic messages like uh, appear sporadically, confirmed definitely mostly in Venice, rarely in the States. Uh, Nothing so far on where we might look for the thing. And then towards the end of the day is the seems like there's only one at a time question mark.
Respond with, "This sounds like a really cool creature for the new movie you're working on. Love the lore."
Yes, yes. Indianapolis ShrekNet, here we come. Um,
I think he replies with something like, "Huh? Oh, yeah, definitely."
I love it. Um, let's see here. That, like you said, it's going to take you almost all day to get that taken care of. You started that bright and early at like 9 a.m. You're finishing up probably like 6 or 7 in the afternoon after doing your thorough researching, which is such a cool freaking ability. Go library use. Call of Cthulhu would be proud.
So would Carter.
Yeah, also true. I'm not convinced that they're not the same game.
Spoiler alert.
Um, Brick, you rolled for a good old fashioned stakeout.
I did.
What do we get here? You got 3 successes.
3 successes.
Um, how long would you like to stay here? Or what are your parameters for your stakeout? I should say.
I mean, I assume we're not talking about days and days, right? Obviously,
Right.
this is just however long it takes the team to start finishing up their missions, right? So library, after Trina talks to the people, I'm assuming they're going to check in. So
Okay.
I'm
So
expecting a few hours.
yeah. For the first about 2 hours of this, just sit and watch. You don't notice any sort of movement in or out of the house. There's still the police tape up on the front door, and definitely got a sort of a line going around the house. Um, only person to seem to come by show any sort of interest to this house is the male individual who drops some mail into the mailbox. But other than that, very uneventful. until right about the end, where everything's been completely still. The front or the if you're looking at the house, there's the front window that is rather large, and then on the left it looks like maybe a small bedroom window. The shades sort of move on that a little bit.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, definitely paying attention.
Okay. A few moments later, you see it move again. But this time you saw what looked like maybe a hand moving it.
How so this I would expect like Trina and team to be available, right? At this
Just
point.
about this point, yeah.
And how far away am I?
You're probably about a 10-minute drive. You're on the outskirts of downtown, and they're directly downtown. So about a 10-minute drive.
Okay. But so far, right, we know it's in there. We suspect it's in there. Um, so I don't think this is any real new information that I need to alert them to yet, right?
That's a very good question, Bert.
All right. I'll call Trina.
Okay.
I think it's not my strong suit.
That's fair.
Hey, what's up, fine thing? How you doing?
So doing the thing we talked about. Looks like somebody's home.
What you got?
Uh, nothing real crazy, just some movement. Maybe somebody's in there.
Okay, why don't you sit tight? We'll be there shortly.
All right, not going anywhere.
Hangs up the phone. Is there a Home Depot nearby?
Yeah, sure there is. I'll map it.
Do you have a credit card?
Dang.
I
First the
have
gas money, now the credit card.
How much do you need?
Well, I got an idea. I think we can rent us one of those thermal cameras and maybe take a peek and see if there's a cold spot or a warm spot before we go inside.
Yeah, not a bad idea, but like, why are we doing this now? Are we going over there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was way out of context. I apologize. Sometimes my brain gets to work and I don't think to put the words out there. That was Brick. Apparently, he said he saw somebody inside the house. And I'm not sure if it is somebody or something. Like I told you, I think Caden's still in there. And if everything that ghost hunting specials on the Sci Fi Network tell me, then there should be a cold spot wherever his ghost is.
Yeah, I mean, probably weird to say. I kind of hope he isn't there. Probably help us out.
Yeah, you're telling me, honey. I don't like the idea of ghosts any more than I do werewolves.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that right now. I just feel like
Sure
I
thing.
cooled down. So
Sure thing.
I'll drive to the nearest Home Depot.
Easy enough. You head over to the good old fashioned Home Depot. Um, and go ahead and get some goods from there. And then you guys want to meet up with Brick? Is that the case
Yeah.
here?
After that, we'll head back to Brick.
Very good, very good. You do see Trina. You do see Brick's truck, sort of, or Brick's vehicle, excuse me. Um, Posted just slightly down the street a little bit from the house, but
Okay. Just pull up behind him.
Okay.
I'll walk up next to his window and kind of tap lightly on it.
I do the universal sign for feel free to hop in.
I'll walk around the front, jump in. I stopped and got us a goodie.
Do I want to know?
It pulls out the thermal camera. I
Oh,
figure we
all
can
right.
use this to see if there's anybody in there or anything.
Yeah, I saw the curtain ruffle and it looked like a hand.
Well, when everything went on in there, I did see Caden's spirit before I left, so he might still be roaming.
How do we get into this shit?
That's a great question, honey. You have to
Nobody can except for
blame.
the mail carrier, so I don't think anybody walked in.
You want to go take a peep with that camera and see what we see?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
yeah.
I'm staying in my car.
That's fine.
I will allow it.
Now,
I totally understand. I'm not about to push her any.
now, do we know this is gonna work like silver on a puppy, or is this some Scooby Doo shit?
This is some Scooby Doo shit, but hopefully it'll work.
Uh,
I mean, it stands to reason that, incorporeal body would have a lower temperature and create a impact on the area around it, but no way to know until we check, right?
yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's Morgan rented it. It's not like we bought a $1,000 piece of equipment.
Oh, I'm still working on reason and incorporeal bodies and whether any of it makes sense.
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
Guess so. Uh, Dumb question. If it comes at us, is shooting it gonna do shit?
No.
Cool.
But if you can solve its problem, it might fuck off. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Oh my lord. We just had a hell of a morning. God, I am gonna have to go to church tonight. That's all there is to it.
All right, let's do this.
Fire up the camera, point it at the house.
Okay. You go ahead and point it towards the house. Obviously, thermal cameras don't go fully through houses, obviously, but um, you do get some heat where you assume that probably like pipes or other things like that begin to light up on the exterior portion of the house.
Nothing near the window.
Not near the window, no.
Guess we're going closer.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds fun.
How close do you guys want to get to the house?
We'll go up to like the first set of stairs, and then we won't go on the porch yet.
Okay.
Kind of get a better angle on the windows. Maybe we can
Yeah.
see through them.
Um, as you get closer to um, the window where Brick mentioned where they saw the person, and it would have been the room that you and Morgan climbed out of, and where you saw the ghost last. You look through and sort of try your best to sort of look with the thermal camera. Um, and overall, inside of the house is colder, but you don't see through any sort of anything that would be out of the range of normal from, maybe there's like a vent that might be blowing through or something like that. Um, but nothing drastic like that.
You know what this means? We've got to get closer.
Yeah, see if it smells like anything's cooking.
All right, let's do it.
We'll go up on the porch.
Okay, you're on the porch.
We'll go slink ever so slyly over to those windows, like.
Those windows being the front windows for the
Yes.
front of the house.
Yeah, where we came out.
Yeah, yeah. You get all the way up to the window, and you're sort of using the camera to scan over. And you look and use it on the corner where you saw them last, and you saw him go through the wall. And in that corner, you do see there is probably about a 25-degree difference in that corner. Colder.
Okay. Question answered.
You sure that's it, or it's just like a cold corner?
No, that's where he was. Let's go.
I mean, I could tap on the glass if you want.
No. I will put you through that glass, mister.
Oh, you want to let it out? That's fun.
I'm going to be down here. You keep fooling around if you want. I'm going to be down there.
When you guys get closer, you do recognize that the window is open. It's just that the shade is in front of the window.
Why is the window still open?
Well, who's gonna close it?
It was a crime scene. Someone was murdered in there.
Shit.
Yeah. Let's go.
Hey, call Shaggy. We need somebody to go inside.
Who exactly is Shaggy?
Clearly, Riley.
I don't think I'm going to be talking to him for a little bit. He probably wouldn't pick up my phone even if I called him.
Come on, Daphne.
Hey, I'm the Daphne, I will have you know.
I said Daphne. All right, we'll back off to safe distance.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, now that my heart's in my throat, I'll go back and tap on the window next to Morgan.
I'll roll my window down.
Just so you know,
So
she thinks you're Velma.
What? You're so random.
it was a whole conversation, honey. Don't worry about it. Anyways,
I think this is a conversation that we have to have later, but not right now.
what I was going to say is, how equipped are you to handle bad news at the moment, given everything that went down this morning?
I think I'll be fine.
Okay, well, the good news is that surprisingly, every terrible ghost hunting show is correct, and you can see ghosts on thermal cameras. The bad news is that means we just saw a ghost.
But that could be a good thing too.
Yes, I still don't know what. We got to figure out what Riley's connection is to this thing. What it did to him seemed personal. And you said he felt like he was being stalked by another ghost, a spirit, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give Jonas a holler, and maybe he's done fooling around with his library and poking around in them books, and have a little powwow. Figure out what our next step is. Does that sound good to y'all?
I think it makes the most sense, yeah.
And of course, you do realize, Brick, that you're no Fred, which that makes you Scooby.
I actually think Tank is Scooby. I'm probably Scrappy.
and all puns intended, wolf. Um, so where you guys have meeting back up at?
We'll head to the center because we know that's probably where we'll find Jonas,
Okay.
since it's
Who
kind of where he.
thankfully doesn't know about his existential crisis of trying to figure out which Scooby Doo character he is.
Facts. You head back and definitely still got many hours left before Jonas is available to do anything for that matter while he's still using his library use. Because
Gotcha.
by the time you guys get back, you guys are looking at probably about 11:30, and he's not done till about 6. So definitely got quite a bit of time left. But you do see Jonas actively sort of frantically looking through some papers.
He's got a chalkboard that he's got stuff up on and is like trying to piece things together, sitting there, definitely smoking next to an open window, but definitely not outside.
Totally breaking all health codes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just-
All right, well, Brick, if you want to run me by and I'll get my truck and I'll drop this camera back off so you can get your deposit back. And then I think I'll head over to the public library and I'll see what I can dig up on this Caden fella in public records and maybe even stop by the registrar of deeds and see if I can figure out who owned that house. There's some
Why'd
sort of
you
history.
rent a camera? Don't you have a camera on your phone?
First off, Mr. Jonas, you seem to be engrossed in something and you need to get back to work because you're obviously finding information that's going to be very valuable to us, and I do not wish to disturb you. So, this is an A B conversation, so why don't you see your way out?
Oh, okay. Thank you,
Wow.
Trina.
I'm just teasing, honey. I just want you to get, I don't want to interrupt you. That wasn't our goal here.
No, it's totally fine.
We'll tell you all about it, don't worry.
Gets back to heads down.
So that's my plan, to get my truck, go to the library, see what I can pull up, and also hit the registrar of deeds if I can.
Yarp. Morgan and Brick, where you guys like to go to? Or would you guys like to do?
Well, should we go to a bar? That seems to work out well for us.
I know a great one.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know what? No. Brick doesn't know where to go from here, but remembers that Morgan said her sister knows about this stuff. So maybe we should talk to your sister. Unless you have a better idea.
Which stuff are you referring to? The stuff last night or the night
Just-
before?
I was talking about the ghost. Would your sister know about the stuff last night?
No, I was just asking which one you were. I don't remember saying that, so that's why I was asking. But about the ghost. I have since met up with her right before
Oh,
I went
okay.
out with Riley, so don't really have a lot of information right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, believe it or not, I don't know how to deal with ghosts.
Well, I'm hoping this one will be helpful. I just have to know how to approach him. And I would like to be the one to do it since, well, not the other ghost, but Caden. Since, I don't know, I feel like I was connected to him.
Well, he's in there. We can go knock on the window.
That seems very impulsive. I would like to know more about this before just running into the house again. I've already done that once. That was enough.
I agree. Good. You passed the test. Let's get some more information first.
Okay. Didn't realize that that was a test. I actually do want to research kind of what we heard from Kate and see. I know like a lot of it was scrubbed on their end, but I kind of want to go like try to get more details. Especially with the Venice hints and
Yeah.
whatever.
Are you wanting to use anything specific, or you just want to try to do a quick Google search?
Actually, would I know that Trina went to the local library? That's
Yeah, Trina mentioned that they were going to go there.
okay. So I would probably try to hitch a ride with her.
Okay.
And just, I mean, I'm not just gonna like ghost books, but I kind of want to seem normal, looking up things, hack the Wi-Fi so that they don't track what I'm looking up.
Okay. So are you wanting to do global access just at the library using their internet, or are you wanting to see what books or something they have on the subject?
Both.
Perfect.
But I don't want it to seem so obvious, like
Sure,
with
sure.
the books.
Okay. As far as with the books, you're looking up on just information that may have with these monsters from Venice.
Right. I guess. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the books I'd probably want to just look up like basic things just to see if there's anything that like catches my eye.
Sure. Um, both tests are going to be at a DC 4. Global access you
Okay.
can do whenever you're ready for that. And then for library, we're going to go ahead and roll wits and occults. See if you can find any sort of good books on the occults.
Is that for me or no?
Uh,
That's for
that
Morgan.
yeah, that'd be for Morgan, but that
Yeah,
would
that's
also be for because you're going there looking for.
I was wondering if we could, do investigation because I'm looking for information not about the occult, but just about Caden, the house, the death. He mentioned it had been 4 years prior. Um, searching obituaries to see, pull the microfiche, do all that good stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll wits and investigation, please.
He-
And that will be DC 3 for you there, Trina.
Okay.
You both, since you guys are doing some research, are more than welcome to use some desperation dice if you guys would like.
So why don't you take a moment to explain to the folks at
Hmm.
home how desperation dice work?
Yeah, so based off the Hunter's Creed, you might be able to add a dice equal to the desperation level, which is currently 2. And if you roll a 1 on those, I get to have some fun, which you could possibly go into despair, which is a whole nother mechanic that we can get into once that gets there. But you get to add extra dice to your dice pool.
Do I have to say yes before I roll?
Yes.
Okay, how do you want me to designate what is those dice versus what are my regular dice?
So you're rolling with roll 20.
Yes.
So with that, you can go ahead and roll it separate.
Okay.
Like go ahead and roll the first set, and then the next 2 or whatever can be the
Okay.
the dice for that.
Pull the trigger.
Do it.
Well, there's 3 successes, so I didn't need to do this at all.
Well, you said it.
I know. Why
Roll
not?
that
It sounds
one.
fun.
Roll that 1. You rolled a
4
1.
successes.
All right. Morgan, what are you rolling?
Okay, so I did my global access and I have 6 on that one.
Ooh.
And then
Nice.
for the wits and occult, I am gonna use desperation dice
Ooh.
just because I don't have a good a good one in there.
Yeah, just make sure since you are rolling at home that you just have those 2 dice separated from the rest of them.
Yep. Okay. I did not roll a 1.
Unfortunate. I mean,
on the
good job.
desperation. And I got 3 successes.
Okay. Um, so, did you want a willpower? Because 3 successes on the library is not going to be enough. You're looking for 4. And you
Sure.
cannot willpower desperation dice. Those cannot be willpowered.
Those were 8 and 9, so. I got 1 more.
Ooh, okay. So a bunch of successes at the brewery. Trina, as you're looking through, um, he did have ownership of the house. That was actually his own house. But the individual prior, there is some old newspaper clippings and stories of the robbery gone wrong from when his friend passed away. It looks like someone had broken into the house where he currently lives, broken in and killed his friend. And then he sort of bought it shortly after when it went up to a to be sold.
So the property originally belonged to Caden's friend, but he purchased it after his death.
Yes, correct. After
Okay.
for his friend's death, yeah.
Was there like any leads in the investigation?
There were a couple of people of interest, but it sort of every person they went through and questioned had a legit alibi, and it just slowly became a cold case.
What is the name of the friend?
Name of their friend is. Sorry, I'm pulling up my notes. Hannah, I didn't give that name when you guys did that meeting, did I?
No.
Madison Rice.
Did he get the house at a pretty good deal, given that someone had been murdered there?
A decent deal, not a good deal. Like he
Okay.
still paid a pretty decent amount for it. It's not disclosed, but
So it was a discount, but not like an unreasonable discount.
right, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else?
That's all you got from your library
Perfect.
search.
Works good.
Um, Now for Morgan. As you do some heavy research with 6 hits
Woo.
on your global access, were you using any new perks or anything with that, Edge?
No.
Okay. Um, as you're digging through the information, you do find quite a bit of information on these creatures here, where again, this is the only one that you have seen in the state side. But as you're digging through further and further, um, you do find a couple of cases in Venice matching the descriptions that Kate gave you guys a little bit earlier. But Um, it goes a little bit further than that you're able to find on the internet. You are able to see that there has been um, very old, like black and white pictures that look like they were scanned in, so they're not very good quality. Um, Pictures of these sort of monsters, and they have different shapes. Um, most of them do have the similar style that you saw from the one here. Um, but you also see what looks like a mostly human individual, but it's sort of also been shaped into like almost like slug like for the backside. And you do see that
Are there any that like look exactly like what we saw?
there's quite a few that look that way. But as you get older and further back, you do see that it sort of changes a little bit. Um, and at the bottom of this picture, um, you do see that there was it looks like something written down on the bottom of the picture that got scanned. It was a little bit hard to tell, but you were able to look into it, and you can see what barely, barely looks in, and it just says Yorak, Yorak. But other than that, that's all you find for your information. And that goes all the way to um, you got 6 successes.
Yes.
Uh, you will recognize a castle in the background of this picture. And it looks like a very famous castle in Transylvania.
Am I able to tell like how long ago these pictures were taken?
Um, Go ahead and roll intelligence and academics. DC 2.
Can I add research onto that one?
You can.
Okay. And I got 2.
2. All right. Um, the way that it looks, it you're probably looking at like 1830s, like very early photography.
Okay. Okay.
All right. And with that being said, actually, real quick, because you did library use as well, looking up any sort of books. Um, no books surrounding this creature, unfortunately enough. You do see a couple books, but they're all like in the fiction section for ghosts. Um, Nothing of like research value wise, but you definitely have some ghost books if you really want to hold on to them. But other than that, yeah. With that being said, we will go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Really do appreciate as we did, guys. We did some research this episode. Congratulations. A library was used in both aspects, whether it's Jonas or it's actually the library. Um, but thank you guys so much for coming hang out. Really do appreciate it. We will be live next week with another episode of Indy by Night, Hunter the Reckoning. So make sure to come on, hang out, and we will see you guys then. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.